Good evening, good afternoon, everyone that's joining us from remotely. We'll start off with the Pledge of Allegiance here in person. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. There's no one here. I don't know anyone joining would like to offer any kind of public comment. I don't see anyone. I think everyone that's on. But let me just ask, is there anyone that has any business they would like to bring forth in open forum or public comment outside of what's on the agenda? Don't think so. Okay. We'll move on to the consent agenda, approval of the minutes. Consider approval of the minutes from the November 13th, 2023 Planning and Zoning Commission meeting.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes.
And I second that motion.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed say same. Moving on to the regular agenda. 5A, consideration, discussion, and possible action on items removed from the consent agenda by commission action. Move on to 5B, sign variance. Consider a variance to section 78-101 of the sign ordinance for an existing legal non-conforming freestanding sign that fails to meet the minimum sign setback requirements for a property located at 1028 South Street. This request has been submitted by Wakefield Sign Service Case File Number SBO 2023-04.
Thank you, Chairman,
Mr. Interim City Planner.
Commissioners. Juan Paulette, Interim City Planner. So as stated, this property is located at 1028 South Street in the Southgate Shopping Center. This building was constructed in the 70s, and to the best of our knowledge, the current sign has been in place since the 90s. The property is located in a B2 general business zoning district along the city's major commercial corridor. The applicant is requesting to install a 32 square foot sign cabinet to an existing legal non-conforming freestanding sign, which would require a variance to the minimum sign setback requirements for freestanding signs. The existing sign height creates an encroachment into the required setback to the street, from the street. The 4x8 foot sign is an exact replacement of the Family Dollar sign that was taken down in the mid-2000s. And the reason that we're having to do the variance is because when they took the sign down, they took down the cabinet as well, which made it lose its grandfather status. If they'd have left it on, all they would have to do was just reface it, and hindsight being 2020. Section 78-101 is a section of the ordinance that will require the variance, and it states that no freestanding sign may be closer than 1 1/2 foot from the back of the street curb for each 1 foot in total height of the sign. In addition, no freestanding sign may be closer than 12 feet from the back of the street curb. Because the sign was, based off the proposed sign height, the sign would have to be 48 feet from the back of the curb. Because this sign was constructed prior to the adoption of the sign ordinance, it is considered grandfathered, therefore allowed to remain in its current location of 15 feet from the back of the curb. And here's a site picture of the subject property, looking at it from South Street. The existing freestanding sign shown in the picture on the right is approximately 32 feet tall and has an existing 13 by 3 vertical sign cabinet displaying the name of the shopping center. And the Google map picture on the left was taken in 2008 and shows the original Family Dollar sign. The addition of the new 32 square foot sign would require the sign to be set back 48 feet from the back of the curb, requiring a 33-foot encroachment variance.
I had a question real quick.
Go back.
So the sign from 2008 to the sign being proposed, and if you said this, I apologize, are they the same in dimension?
Same exact size.
Same exact
They're
size, so-
basically proposing to put the
That
same
back.
sign
Okay.
back on.
Thank you.
So this hardship has existed and is not self-imposed because the sign has been there at this location and configuration prior to the adoption of the current sign ordinance without any known issues. Staff believes that replacing the original 32 square foot Family Dollar sign would not be contrary to the general objectives of the sign ordinance and recommends approval. And this concludes staff's presentation, and I'll be happy to answer any questions from the commission. And the applicant is remoting in if you have any questions or if he would like to speak.
You said there were no known issues with the sign being the way that it was, right?
No, none.
Any other questions or anything for right now?
It looks
Yes.
like if you move the sign, you'd have to put it on their building to make it 48 feet back.
Yeah, it would be in the parking lot somewhere close to the building.
Does the applicant want to say anything? Or representatives for the applicant?
Yes, I'm Michael Hackney, and just wanted to say that,
Mr. Haggard, if you would,
I have to parrot Mr. Paulette's,
Mr. Haggerty,
finding the sign.
Mr. Haggerty.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, could you please state your name and address, please? And
Oh,
then you-
yes,
Thank you.
Michael Haggerty, 10187 State Highway 30, College Station. I'm with Wakefield Sign Company.
Thank you, sir. Go ahead, please.
What I wanted to add to what Mr. Paulette had said, that I believe the original sign in 2008 was an illuminated sign. What's being proposed is a non-illuminated sign, if that helps y'all in any way to, approve the sign. As typically variances, you have to present a hardship. Unfortunately, the only hardship that was the case with the sign is that the sign was removed sometime, after 2008. And I tried to check in with Family Dollar, and I did not find, I never got an answer to why the sign was removed, whether it was damaged or it was, why it was taken down. But I would just like to project that Family Dollar would like to reinstall the sign.
Thank you, sir. Could you go back to the one picture that had the 2008 sign to the current sign so I can,
Okay, that's, the picture on the left is the 2008 original sign. And, let's see. And that's what they're proposing. The picture on the right.
It does look a little wider, doesn't
And
it?
it's probably not, exactly,
Oh,
scale.
the
To scale.
dimensions are the same, but
The-
the
yeah.
picture
Used
may
to
be
be
off.
there. Yeah.
Mhm.
the sign they're proposing now is dimensionally the same as the one that was there in 2008.
Okay.
So just FYI. We had another commissioner
Sign was
join us,
taken
and so just
down.
bringing her up to
Right.
speed.
Now they want to put it back up.
Right.
It's curious to me, I mean, this really doesn't have anything to do with the application, but, that none of the other businesses in that shopping center have a sign out by the street.
yeah.
It's
That's-
very odd. This is my neighborhood, so, in
Right.
fact, I was just there today, so,
We are in discussion mode, right?
yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
we are.
Thank you, guys. Sorry I'm late.
Actually, we're in presentation mode right
Oh,
now.
got it.
But, Mr. Haggerty, representing the sign company, just gave us a high level.
Okay.
Okay. Mr. Haggerty, anything else? Mr. Haggerty, do you have anything else, sir? Okay. We will open it up for public comment. Anyone?
Big
No?
crowd here
We'll
today.
Yeah, a big crowd. We'll close that and open it up for further further planning and commission discussion.
It's a picture from 2008.
Mm-hmm. Juan, would that existing pole with Southgate still remain? Or would that have to be,
No, it'll stay in its current location.
got it, because it's
Yeah,
grandfathered
it's
in.
grandfathered, and, yeah.
So if he were to put another sign with the setback requirements of 48 feet, then he would have to build another structure for a sign?
Yeah, I don't think there's gonna be too many more they can fit on there, but,
Right.
yeah, they would have to do another structure.
Right.
Some, in a different location.
Any questions for the applicant or city planner? Okay, we'll close comments and move to motion. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the variance as presented.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say same. It so carries. Thank you, Mr. Haggerty, for joining.
Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and y'all have a very Merry Christmas.
You
Thank you.
too.
You.
You too.
Moving on to agenda item 5C, sign variance. Consider a variance to section 78-101 of the sign ordinance for freestanding sign that exceeds the maximum allowed height requirements, maximum sign area requirements, and minimum setback requirements for property located at 1304 Northwest Stallings Drive. This request has been submitted by Murtaza Doctor of Victory Signs and Imaging, case file SVO 2023-05. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Chairman, Commissioners. Juan Paulette, interim city planner.
Can you silence him, Mr. Haggerty?
Can y'all please, mute the mics, or?
She's got it.
She's doing it?
Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
Alright. So this property is located at 1304 Northwest Stallings Drive, where the Trade Days Flea Market used to be. Building plans have been approved for the construction of an on-the-road mini truck stop to be located on the southwest corner of the property, fronting Northwest Stallings and Sandia Drive. The owner plans to install diesel pumps behind the gas station in the near future. And you can see on the map where it'll be located.
Juan, where is this? Sorry. In the grand scheme of things, where is?
It's
Directly across from Four Travel almost.
Oh, okay.
You remember there used to be a little flea market? You could go there once a month. There's a car dealership just to the south of it, Piney Woods Automotive.
Yeah,
Yeah, Motor.
and there's several motor coach sales places.
If you
Motorhomes
turn,
of Texas is
if you
right
turn
next to
out,
it.
if you go out Douglas Road
It's on
21,
the inside of the loop.
Mhm.
yes, if you go out 21 like you're going to
Yeah.
Four Travel or go west and turn north on the loop,
Yeah,
it's right, it'll,
okay.
as soon as you get onto the roadway, I'm not sure the public road, the street there, that's,
Near Hydrix and the.
Yeah,
yes,
there's,
yes,
GCD.
yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
there's a little mobile home park behind there.
Okay, thank you.
So this property is located in a B2 general business zoning district on the west side of the loop, as far as in relation to the town, but on the east side of the loop, if that makes sense. So the applicant is requesting 3 different variances. One for height of the sign, one for the setback of the sign, and the other for the overall sign area. This is a rendering of the dimensions of the proposed 70-foot tall freestanding sign the applicant is proposing to construct on the northwest corner of the property. The owner is requesting an increased sign height and area due to the fact that this property is located approximately 30 to 40 feet lower in elevation than properties to the north and south of it along Northwest Stallings Drive. This is a site plan for the on-road mini truck stop and is showing the placement of the freestanding sign up in the northwest corner of the property. So section 78-101 regulates the area, the placement, and the sign, and the height of the freestanding sign, and it states that no freestanding sign may be closer than 1 1/2 feet from the back of the street curb for each 1 foot in total sign height. And in addition, no freestanding sign may be closer than 12 feet from the back of the curb. Based off the proposed sign height of 70 feet, the sign height would have to be 100 feet from the back of the curb. The applicant is proposing to place the sign 69 feet from the back of the curb, requiring a 36-foot variance. So when regulating the height of a freestanding sign, 78101 states that commercial zones with a minimum of 100 feet of frontage on State Highway 224 west and US 59 north of 224, Loop 224, and US 59 south of Loop 224 may have a sign up to a maximum of 50 feet in height with a minimum distance from the right-of-way of 100 feet. The sign shall be no closer than 200 feet from any property zoned residential, medical, or historic. The applicant is proposing to construct a 70-foot tall freestanding sign requiring a 20-foot variance. In the last section, when regulating the area of a freestanding sign, 78101 states that the maximum area of a freestanding sign shall be based on the total amount of street frontage, and the maximum sign area for any freestanding sign is 300 square feet. The total amount of street frontage on this property is 448 feet, with a total allowing for a total of 225 square feet of sign area. The applicant is proposing a sign area of 585 feet, requiring a 360 square foot variance. And this is a picture of the subject property, looking at it from the corner of Sandia and the Loop. So these pictures were taken from the subject property, looking to the south and north along Northwest Stallings Drive. You can see the elevation gains on both sides, especially from the south where you have Douglas Road with the Douglas Road overpass. With the construction of the I-69 bypass, this section of the highway will become a major freeway which will significantly increase the traffic along this corridor. The increased sign height and area would increase the sign visibility and provide northbound drivers cresting Douglas Road the ability to see the sign sooner and make safe lane changes prior to the exit. And this is a map of the city's topography of that area. If you can see in the square in blue is the proposed, the site of the truck stop, and it's at approximately 400 feet of elevation. And the red rectangle squares to the north and south represent the elevation gain. To the north is approximately 400 feet of elevation gain, 440 feet. And to the south is about 445 feet of elevation. So staff believes this variance request meets the conditions for approval and recommends approval of the proposed sign area of the 585 square feet, height of 70 feet, and a setback of 69 feet. And this concludes staff's presentation. I can answer any questions from the commission. And the applicant is also here, or actually remoting in, if you have any specific questions or if they would like to speak.
Well, may I speak?
Yeah.
Didn't mean to interrupt anybody if they were going to. We had made a decision on a sign variance for a truck stop that was on Stallings in the Loop. Do you remember what the setback, oh, it's on here.
Yeah, actually, it's in the next slide.
Got it.
I didn't include it because I didn't want to make it too long, but I have it here for reference. So the sign,
Go ahead, sorry.
so the top one is what's proposed on this variance, and the other two are what was proposed and passed. The first one being the TA truck stop, which was passed in 2021, and the one on the bottom is the Morgan Oil truck stop, which was passed in 2022. And you can kind of see the comparisons between the three.
Mm-hmm.
Leave this here for a second, if you don't mind, please.
Yep.
And I also have pictures of the other two that were approved in the next slides if you want to see those.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we'll go back to that slide in a second after we see the pictures.
Okay. So here's the TA truck stop sign that was approved in 21. That's looking at it from the north to the south. And this is the Morgan Oil Truck Stop, looking at it from north to south.
Both are,
Higher.
they're higher,
Yeah, they're significantly
but they're
higher.
they're further off the road too, considerably.
And if you look at it in comparison, the height that the applicant is proposing, and the setback is kind of relevant to
Relevant to
the
Right.
height and, setback of the other two.
Okay.
Well, my question to you is for the setback for safety concerns on that side street, there's no harm in the setback number?
No, because
It's on the
they're
north side of
proposing
the
to put it
property.
on the,
North side.
northwest side of the,
That's right, okay.
property. So
That's right.
Sandy is to the south,
That's right, okay.
so.
So how does the applicant know that the I-69 expansion isn't going to change that setback considerably?
Well, there's, at this time, no plans for it to widen at that area, according to the last, city engineer, Steve.
Okay,
He said that that area is gonna remain that width.
No
No,
feeder
no.
road or anything?
Mm-mm.
Seems
Not in that
strange.
Should
area.
have to get to the other businesses through there. There'll have to be something.
Well, to my knowledge, I can look into it and, get with the engineers, but, to my knowledge, that area is not gonna get any wider.
Right, but there has to be feeder roads, because otherwise the businesses will be cut off from all access. So there will be some kind of feeder road to there. I know that comes at an expense of the city, and I'm not sure that's gonna be funded. I think it comes at the expense of the city, but, they're gonna, it's a controlled access freeway, so there will have to be a feeder road. So that will play a part into this. Could be a considerable expense for folks along there that have to move their signs too. I don't know who that falls upon, but, in any event.
well, if the alignment changes or if you're mistaken about that, what would happen to the sign? I mean, what if all of a sudden there is another road there and the sign's only 20 or 30 feet from the, would he have to move the sign or what would happen?
I would think yes.
It's possible.
Who would make that decision and who would
TxDOT.
enforce it?
TxDOT would, yeah.
TxDOT would.
Oh, 'cause they have setbacks.
Yes.
Yes, on interstates, yes.
I find it interesting that we're imposing the city sign ordinance on TxDOT
Right, I feel the same way.
because it seems like there should be either a separate section of the city code for TxDOT, not all TxDOT roads, but obviously an interstate or an interstate wannabe. And then we wouldn't have to keep going through this. I mean,
Yeah, and that's one of the things in the update, is along this section, redoing, well, the sign variances, well, the sign ordinance to allow for higher signs, maybe further setback, to allow for visibility, along this corridor.
do we know what the TxDOT setback is?
I-
Perhaps Mr. Doctor knows.
Well, we have, on our GIS, map, the right-of-way,
Yes.
which shows, TxDOT right-of-way, which I believe for this road is 120 feet. But, our GIS map shows the right-of-way, the TxDOT right-of-way.
I mean, 120 feet total?
No, from the center of the highway on either side. So 240 total.
Width of the total
width,
lane.
Yeah,
So I'm assuming that the proposed location is,
it's outside of the,
Just outside of
yes,
that?
it is.
Unless they had a feeder road, which they will have to.
Yeah.
Otherwise, businesses will not have access.
That's more than likely gonna happen.
Yeah.
That, I'm not sure.
yeah.
But like I said, according to Steve, when he was here, that area, well, there was no proposal for the widening of the road in that area. But the feeder road might be a different story, I don't know.
Is there a reason that the sign can't be set back further? Mr. Doctor, or anybody? Because it looks like there's plenty of room for it to be set back.
The applicant would probably be able to answer that a
Well,
little better.
let's just, go ahead.
Before you do that, can you go back to that sign variance that we saw?
The,
The 3 different ones, so we can
Oh.
look at those numbers. Okay, thank you.
Would the applicant like to speak?
Hi, this is James Harris. And to answer your question, the reason why we're not
Mr.
proposing a
Harris.
larger setback is
Mr.
because it
Harris.
reduces sign visibility.
Mr. Harris, can you please state your name and address, please, and then you can proceed? Thank you.
James Harris, 6530 Queenston Boulevard, Houston, Texas, 77084.
Thank you, sir. Go ahead. Sorry about that.
Yes, sir. So the reason why we're not proposing more than 70 feet is because it's going to reduce sign visibility beyond that.
But the other
The
two-
building will block it.
Oh, the building will block it. Well, the other two have a generous setback and they're plenty visible.
it's
They're
because
higher.
they're way higher.
Yeah.
Nearly twice as high.
Yeah, one is 120 and the other is 118 feet
I
high.
guess it costs a lot of money to get them up
Oh,
high,
yeah.
doesn't it?
Mr. Harris, have you or your team have any insight in, I mean, this is a huge investment on the developer or business's part. Any insight what they believe the interstate's gonna do through there?
At this time, I don't know, sir.
Okay.
The applicant is on.
Yes.
Can you unmute him? Mr. Doctor. Or Mrs. Doctor, I'm not sure which one.
It's Mr.
Mr. Oh, well.
Yeah, that's a text doc question. We can't, we don't have any
any-
information
yeah.
as far as expansion goes.
No, that's fine. Just curious, more than anything.
And in my previous experiences with other customers, whenever we have these kind of situations where TxDOT is proposing some extension of the highway or something, there is a whole documentation on that. If you see the site plan, the sign is completely inside the property line.
Yeah.
So whenever we have these kind of extensions of road or anything, the TxDOT have a whole documentation where they allow some specific things to move and some specific things not to move. So it all depends on the TxDOT.
Right. No, we're familiar. It's converting a US highway into an interstate. There's a lot of fluidity right now, and we're just curious if you've had discussions otherwise that made the determination why you want to put the sign where it is, but that's okay. Thank you.
Sure.
And that setback of 69 feet is from the property line, which is also the right of the way. They're the same.
Okay.
We are finding out more information so that we can have clarity on it. Thank you.
If,
Sorry.
no,
go ahead.
you're
No,
good.
no,
No,
good.
you're good.
I'm good.
Applicants, do you have anything else? If not, we'll,
No, sir.
okay, thank you, guys.
No, sir.
There's no one here, but just in case I'm missing, we'll move to public comment. Is there anyone that would like to speak? Everybody's being quiet in the audience. We'll close public comment and open it up for council discussion, or commission discussion, excuse me.
Yes, Amy?
Okay, so Case just texted back and said they haven't established the width of the right of way yet, it's still being studied.
Yeah, so,
Was your mic on?
So I spoke with Case and he said they haven't established the width of the right of way yet and it's still being studied.
Okay,
In case is the city engineer.
yes.
which, yeah, I would imagine, yeah. And
For those
there's a lot
attending.
that can happen through there, but that's neither here nor there for tonight, right now, I guess, but
Does
That's for the
anyone
business
know
owner.
what the setback is, the TxDOT setback? I mean, it seems like they wouldn't want to put a sign here if they thought there was a chance they'd have to move it.
Well, as They're 69 feet from the text dot setback, the sign.
Of the current measurements of what we know.
Of what we know right now is they're 69 feet away from the setback, the text dot setback, or their right of way, which the right of way and the
Of a
property
single
line
roadway.
are the same, they're the same.
Yeah, of a single roadway with no feeder roads or access roads or anything.
Well, I'm sorry, go ahead, Rick.
If we approve this and they build the sign and then TxDOT comes in and puts in, or whoever comes in and puts in a feeder road, and their sign turns out to be in the middle of the feeder road, it would be, they'd have to move it, right?
Business center, yeah.
But it may impact a lot of businesses along that route.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if
Look at
they
the-
widen that
Look at the
far,
other ways,
Right.
that
look at
would-
the other ways that it would affect this plan. Not just the sign, but
Right.
I mean, like you said, if it was right in the middle of a feeder road, the canopies would be, or the canopy itself would be,
Right.
you know,
It'll
I
have to-
And
suppose
there's
that's
car
the,
lots and dealerships.
I suppose that's the
that
risk
track
they
them
take
down.
building there right now.
We're trying to protect you too as the applicant, so just a little discussion here, so, okay, anything else? Maggie?
What's the timeline of construction of this facility?
There's a lot of going on, I see a lot of,
Yeah, they've already broke
Yeah.
ground and
Okay,
they're
so
doing the
it-
dirt
it's
work.
Pretty
right now.
soon.
It's
it's imminent, yes, ma'am.
Okay, so they really need this now, they can't
Yeah,
punt.
they need to get the.
Yeah, the project completion of the projected completion is March.
March.
Wow,
That's really soon.
that's aggressive, okay.
69 is probably much further along.
Yeah, much
and
further away.
if it didn't change, if the roadway's not changing, this makes sense.
Yeah.
But the idea of the roadway changing, all of a sudden, it's like, it would, brand new business right across the
Well,
front of it.
Of course,
It's gonna impact a lot
TxDOT
of
never
things.
does anything all of a sudden, so.
Yeah. That's true.
Okay.
Yes, they're all being studied right now, the frontage roads and.
Yeah, I know that's a sensitive topic, but, you know, the city and county are gonna have to plan around that. They can't cut off the businesses, so not sure how that plays out, but we won't have to deal with that tonight, so. Okay, anything else?
Is this for discussion for us?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You know, one of the things that I want to be conscientious about is how our town looks through, I know it's an interstate corridor, but I don't want it to look personally like you're driving through Houston or Dallas with the gigantic signs and things in your face, and it makes it look like we have no originality or uniqueness. And it's just something to keep in mind as we make decisions for these signs that are going to come up, because inevitably there's going to be a lot more construction for gas stations for trucks and things like that, and businesses that will be popping up along this corridor. And so something like this with 70 feet, not too tall, the area is a little bit, it's in what you have equated to be,
Lower elevation or,
well, a square foot of the area of the sign.
oh,
This is a formulaic thing, which you're calculating. And so that's just one of the things that, in concern to the businesses that are going to be facing the burdens of TxDOT, that happens a lot. And it is not for us to make that decision. Unfortunately, Mr. Doctor, who is putting this business in, is aware of the, years that come, what would happen if they actually extend how the feeder roads and how this will actually work out. And so, that's just basically the comment I wanted to make sure that we are thinking about stuff like that, because our city and town will not only grow internally here in downtown in this main area and central area, but externally as well, where residents will also be living, because that's where I think growth will actually occur should the population increase. And so let's think about that stuff too, as they have to live with the loop becoming a corridor. All
I
right,
agree with you.
well, thank you.
When's the last time our sign ordinance?
2005.
We have to
So
update it.
It's time. Get after that now.
Let me get on it.
Before you go on vacation.
All right.
Please.
Put that on my to-do list.
We do, we need to update it.
Yes, we do.
Any other comments from commissioners? Okay, do we have a motion?
I think it's really hard to say no to one when you've said yes to two others that are essentially the same. I'll make a motion that we accept the variance.
If you can just state the dimensions that I'd mentioned of.
As printed.
As printed.
Which is,
585 square feet of sign area, 70 feet in height, and 69 feet of setback.
okay, I'll call it out too. I'll second the motion. All those in favor say it. Oh,
No,
Oh, I'm sorry.
I was just participating in that.
Discussion.
There were three items there that needed to be included. I was just,
yeah. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. So, so it carries, and the proposal, or the sign variance approved is 70 feet in height, area of 585 square feet, with a setback from the street of 69 feet. Thank you, Mr. Doctor and Mr. Harris, for joining. Thank you.
Good luck.
thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Good luck.
Moving on to agenda item 6, discussion of possible action on future agenda items. A planning and zoning member may inquire about a subject for which notice has not been given. A statement of specific factual information or the recitation of existing policy may be given. Any deliberation shall be limited to a proposal to place the subject on an agenda for a subsequent meeting.
How's that presentation coming?
Nathan's working on it.
Oh, good.
He actually said he would like to speak with some of the commission
Great.
to
Yeah, I
find
would
out,
like
get
that.
details, and so he can.
I shared the presentation with you,
Yes,
but
yes.
yeah, there's some
Okay.
things I think we'd like to add.
Okay.
Make sure that are discussed.
Keep us honest on this, so.
Can you send me his contact information? Okay,
Can you send it to all commissioners?
yes, I'm sorry, all of us.
But we do have to be conscientious about,
Yeah, he is
he costs the city.
yes.
Yes, he's contracted. Yeah,
But they're saving a lot of money right now by not having a planner, so.
absolutely.
Or I should say, we are saving a lot of money.
But yeah, I will get that to y'all, and maybe we can set something up, like a little internal meeting where y'all can discuss concerns or what you would like to see on there, and you can get a better idea of how to craft the presentation.
Sounds good.
Perfect.
Thank you, sir. Anything else? We will adjourn.
Thank you.